There's no denying that things today are more expensive than they were just a few years ago. And because of that, many people have seen their disposable income drop. That's the reality, and there's nothing wrong with acknowledging where you are. But if everyone around you, your friends, your family, your coworker, if everyone is saying things like everyone is broke or everyone is struggling or nobody has money for anything, and you hear this all the time, even when you know that it's obviously not true, the fact that you're hearing it over and over again could affect you in ways that you don't even realize. So today we're looking at 3 dangers of thinking that everyone is broke. And the first one is the risk of avoiding money advice. For just about every financial problem, 99.9% of the time, there is a solution, whether it's a short-term solution or a long-term one. However, when people repeatedly hear or think that everyone is broke, they might be less inclined to take advice that can help them not be broke. Instead, they might feel that the advice is irrelevant because they believe that everyone is facing the same difficulties. And here's an example of what I mean by this. There have been times when I've given the tiniest, easiest, most duplicatable money-saving tips. These are tips that will work for any budget and they don't require a lot of effort, so they're basically just small changes. But it doesn't matter because every so often someone will say, I'm sick and tired of videos like this because everyone is broke, or they'll just flat out say, this doesn't work because everyone is struggling. And one time I responded and I was like, well, I'm so sorry that the tips didn't work for you. And this person legit responded, oh, well, I didn't try them. Well, then how do you know that they don't work? A second danger is that this mindset could encourage bad money practices. And I've seen this a lot when it comes to credit card debt and saving money. Some people believe that anytime another person goes on vacation, goes shopping, or does anything costly, that they are automatically using a credit card as if savings accounts don't exist. Now, I'm not saying that this isn't the case for some people, because yes, as we all know, there are people who will use a credit card for things that they cannot afford and then carry that balance for years. However, this is not true for everyone. And I think that some people have a hard time understanding that there are everyday average people who actually have cash on hand to do the things that they enjoy. Now, they might use their card to complete the transaction, but they're paying off their balances in full and they're not getting into debt. Instead, they're using the money that they saved for that purpose. And no, obviously, this is not something that everyone can do because as we mentioned earlier, things have gotten more expensive and a lot of people don't have as much disposable income as they had before. But just because some people can't do that does not mean that everyone is in the same boat. And again, these aren't rich people. These are everyday average people with average incomes, but they do have a few things in common. And oftentimes they might delay gratification, stick to a budget, have a dual income, live well below their means, or have side hustles. This year alone, I've seen so many videos of people claiming that emergency funds are non-existent. In one video, this person was even saying how it's pointless to even try and save one because it's impossible to hit that 3 to 6 month goal. And in another video, this person was saying that anyone who claims to have a 3 to 6 month emergency fund in this economy is lying. And the comment sections did not disappoint, and I am so happy because there was so many people chiming in saying like, okay, no, that is not true. I am an average person with an average salary and I have a 3-month emergency fund. So my point is, when you convince yourself that everyone's in debt or that nobody has money to save, you might start to see high credit card debt and no emergency fund as normal. Another danger of this mindset is that it could keep some people complacent, where they develop this attitude of it is what it is and there's nothing I can do about it. And as a result, they might spend years complaining with no action. Because they think that everyone's in the same boat, they might believe that better opportunities are either not available or aren't for people like them. And what's especially dangerous about this particular mindset is that people will often pass it on to others, whether it's their children, their spouse, or their friends. They start feeding off of each other and the cycle continues. So what can you do about all of this? Well, first of all, you have to do some self-reflection. So be honest and consider how this type of thinking has possibly kept you stuck over the years. For example, has it stopped you from budgeting, from setting goals, or even looking for ways to grow your income because you felt it would all be pointless in the end? And again, it is perfectly okay to be frustrated or to acknowledge the reality of where you are financially. But I think it's even more important to realize that it doesn't always have to be this way. Because for some people, not being broke can be the difference of earning an extra $500 or $1,000 a month, which, if you break down over 30 days, is attainable. Also, try not to get sucked into conversations about everyone being broke, because these will only reinforce a scarcity mindset. And here's a quick illustration on why you don't want to do that. So let's say you have friend group A and friend group B, and in both groups, all of the friends are currently broke. The difference though is that on this side, the friends are like, we're broke, we're struggling, it's been like this for years, there's nothing we can do, it's always going to be like this. Meanwhile, on this side, the friends are like, you know what, we're tired of struggling. Let's get to work, let's put some plans in motion. This way, in 1 to 5 years, we can be in a different place. So now that you know what's going on both sides, which group would you rather belong to?